Miyazaki's Funhouse, The Devil's Pit, House of Thousand Traps. I'm talking about, of course, the infamous Sen's Fortress. Filled with traps from top to bottom and occupied by deadly enemies, conquering this certified rage generator will certainly cost the player many deaths and retries. However, the sweet reward of finally entering the City of Gods, Analondo, for the first time after defeating the fortress's final guardian, the Iron Golem, is magnificent and worth every single one of them. Although passing through the Sen's Playhouse is a daunting and difficult task, just entering it is perhaps an even greater challenge as this massive gate blocks the access.
Of course, most fools can't even find their way into that fortified death trap.
The only way to open it is to prompt the enslaved giant on top of the fortress to do so, by ringing both the upper and lower bells of awakening. These bells are protected by two mighty bosses, the Bell Gargoyles and the Chaos Witch Quelaag respectively. Reaching and besting these bosses requires effort, but more importantly for the speedrunners, it costs time. Especially considering the distance of the lower bell in Quelaag's domain from the entrance to Sen's Fortress. Bypassing the closed Sen's gate would save the speedrunners invaluable time while allowing them to use equipment from further stages of the game on the previously skipped bosses. Well, thanks to Capitaine Toinon and his efforts in 2016, there's a way to do so, using one of the game's most inconspicuous mechanics. Noticed anything special about this clip? Not really? That is because there is nothing special about it, except for this little detail. Notice how the camera changes to a top-down view. And only then is the character's health reduced to 0. This camera is commonly called the death cam. Its purpose is to give the moment when a player falls off of a platform a more cinematic feel. However, as the character might travel through areas swiftly, their surroundings might be loaded and deloaded in an unnatural manner. Thus, the death cam also acts as a way to prevent this by disabling anything in the game from changing its load state while the death cam is active. Now, this is all nice and well, but how does it help us in our goal to enter the Sen's Fortress while the gate is closed? It all makes more sense when I tell you that in order to save computing power, the game loads certain assets to areas later than the areas themselves. Assets like ladders, elevators, or gates. With this knowledge in mind, what needs to be figured out is where the Sen's Fortress loads in the earliest and how close we can approach it before the gate is loaded. The load trigger for the first room of the fortress is right around here in the church, while the gate loads by this pillar. Therefore, it is between these two triggers that if a death cam could be activated, the Sen's gate could be skipped. And it just so happens that there is a death cam trigger located right next to these stairs, as you can fall out of bounds here. This is very convenient because it is right on the way to the fortress. The last piece of the puzzle is to figure out how to activate this death cam without dying. Remember earlier when I said the death cam is activated prior to the character being killed? This is because there is not just one plane you are passing through, there are two of them. If this area around the stairs is observed through a map viewer, similar two planes are visible. The upper plane activates the camera and the lower plane reduces the health bar to 0. If you parry and riposte an enemy, the riposte animation will be executed, no matter the circumstances. This can sometimes create some funny looking effects, but it is also perfect for our cause, as we can force the character's hitbox through the wall and collide with the death cam trigger. A specific position is necessary. Too high and you miss the planes. Too low and you're dead. However, if you manage your position properly, this happens. Now it's just one step until victory. Navigate through the path to Sen's Fortress with tank controls, enter it, and reload the game. Voila! No bells are needed, no frampt is needed, and a great deal of time was saved. The Sen's Gate skip is a staple in almost any Dark Souls speedrun, and might be the most influential skip ever discovered in terms of routing progression in Dark Souls speedrunning. That being said, the Sense Gate skip does not actually skip the Sense Fortress, and I promised a way to do that, so although not as popular, the speedrunners discovered a completely different method of reaching Analondo without ever even entering the Sense Fortress, through an item of seemingly little use, but one with complex interactions with the game's code. I'm talking about the Purple Coward's Crystal. You might have seen the Purple Coward's Crystal be used in speedruns before, usually in the any percent category, to skip obtaining the Lord Souls and enter the last area of the game, the Kiln of the First Flame, through a wrong warp. Or in the All Bosses category, to skip certain long running sections. Fully covering the details behind the wrong warp glitch is not suitable for this video, so let me put it simply. Purple Coward's Crystal is an item the player obtains upon entering the Battle of Stoicism PvP arena. Normally, this item is only operational to leave the arena, but thanks to a frame-perfect glitch called Item Swap, it is possible to use it outside of it as well. Once in the DLC area, or, and this is important, the DLC is loaded, the crystal may be used through item swapping to teleport next to the PvP arena. However, as this teleport takes quite a while to execute, it is possible to trigger a simultaneous warp using a Dark Sign or a Homer Bone. This confuses the game greatly, and while it warps the player to the area of their last bonfire due to the Dark Sign, it also puts them to the default position of that area, which for example for the Firelink altar is behind the gates and in the kiln. What would happen, however, if one could activate the Purple Coward's Crystal and then unload the DLC before they get teleported to the Battle of Stoicism? There is one place in particular where this is possible, right at the bottom of the ladder next to the Darkroot Basin Hydra. While the character is within this area, the DLC is already loaded, but while standing roughly around the bottom of the ladder, it is not. If you use this rock to activate the Purple Coward's Crystal, and then go close to the ladder to unload the DLC, the game quits out to the main menu on its own, presumably as a failsafe, and upon reloading back, puts the player to the DLC arena. This is a peculiar interaction and asked for further investigation. In Dark Souls, when you get summoned or when you invade someone, the game stores the area ID you transport to into its memory. This information remains stored until it's overridden with another invasion, or if the game is completely restarted. This means that this information transfers over characters. As it turns out, this is the address which the game is attempting to read before it quits out to the main menu during the wrong warp in Darkroot while the DLC is not loaded. The actual reason why the game reaches for this address is unknown, as it would require elaborate reverse engineering. Putting the pieces together, what the speedrunners do in New Game Plus speedruns is store an invasion on another character within the new game preparation for their speedrun. Keep in mind that all speedruns must be done offline, thus a player summon or invasion is out of the question. The use of the Black Eye Orb to invade Lautrec in Analondo is well known.
How dare you insult Lautrec the Embraced? May the goddess have mercy upon you!
However, there is another available invasion on Shiva in the Painted World.
Traitors aren't given a second chance for any reason.
This invasion could be a topic for a future video in itself, as it is cut content which is accessible to us through a glitch. Once one of these invasions is complete and the area ID is stored, the players switch to a fresh New Game Plus character already possessing the Purple Coward's Crystal, and all that is left to do in order to skip the Sense Fortress in its entirety is kill the Hydra, perform the wrong warp in Darkroot Basin, and unload the DLC. I personally use this strategy repeatedly in my New Game to New Game Plus 6 All Bosses speedrun, in order to save substantial amounts of time in the early stages of the New Game Plus cycles. Due to the nature of the skip, however, utilizing it in the more classic New Game runs is not possible, at least for now. That being said, the two skips showcased today perfectly demonstrate the endless possibilities Dark Souls contains and how speedrunners attempt to uncover them. I have no doubt there is more to be unraveled. Thank you for watching.